Hey there guys, so we're back once more. I know I legit thought I would not be coming through today because not only is the day hectic, but I've also had a very hectic week and I thought this would like be my weekend to rest. But unfortunately, I owe myself the consistency. I owe you guys the consistency. So yes, today we'll be discussing on how to improve your parenting skills. See, I think if you've noticed, if you've been watching all the vlogs I've uploaded this month, you'd notice that this month has strictly been on parenting, and that is how it will be from now on. This month I'll be covering parenting, and then next month I'll be covering law or marriage the other month, and so forth. Okay, just to keep you guys connected. If you are solely interested in a particular topic, then you know that this month is your month. So that's how we're gonna do it. Anyways, we should be moving on. You guys, so today I'm doing my most exciting and most tedious job, which is parenting. I do it every day, but I'm just like, weekends are the more focused days because then my nanny's not around on weekends and it's only my husband and I. So parenting, it's a learning process, guys. Like I said earlier, it's a learning process, and every day you make mistakes and you learn from them. So we are going to be discussing how to improve our parenting skills. How do you become a better parent? Because it's not an inborn thing, none of us are born great parents. We all just learn. So what are the few things that you can focus on and improve on in order to become a better parent? That is exactly what we're going to be discussing. So number one, you need to practice listening to your child. What you need to keep at the back of your mind is that your child or your children are human beings just like any other person. They're human beings just as you are. So you need to practice your listening skills. You need to practice how to listen to your child when they talk to you. And children, actually, of all people, they are the ones that require most attention. A child can pick it up. When you're not paying attention to them, they know. When you're not listening to them, they know. And they want you to listen. So, take out the time. Put down your phone, put on that laptop, and just give your entire focus to the child. Listen to what your child is saying. Listen to what they are trying to communicate to you. And don't just listen for the sake of hearing. Actually listen to understand what it is that they are trying to tell you, what it is that they want from you. Because once your children get to know that you actually listen to them, they'll be more open to actually talking to you about things. But when they realize that you're not listening, they'll be like, they'd rather find solace or listening ear elsewhere, and you wouldn't want that. Moving on to how you would improve skill with the second skill that you'd need to improve your parenting, it would be to show love and affection to your child. Guys, you don't want your child, if your child should feel love and affection, it should be at home with you. If your child should learn what love is and what affection is, you should be the one to teach them. You don't want your child learning what love is elsewhere, because love could be so many things to so many people. So make sure that you teach your child what it is that you want them to know as to what love is, the real definition that you want your children to know as love. Let love begin at home. Let love be home. Let home be love. So please just show some affection to your child. Be there for them. Let them know that you have their back day or night. Let this child know that, my mom loves me, and whatever it is, I can always, or my dad loves me, that whatever it is, I can always talk to them. I can always go to them and talk to them about it, regardless of whether it's bad or good. You can always like to take a good example of the way God loves us, guys, like this unconditional love. You know how many times we err before God, but yet every time He forgives us, and every time He gives us a new page, a new slate to start on. That is the type of love that we need to practice to our children. Okay, and then also we need to teach them how to express themselves. Very important. Communication is highly crucial. You need to teach your children how to express themselves. Your kids should be able to let out the emotions when they're upset. They should be able to express their joy when they're happy, and without fear. You don't want a child living in an environment where they want to cry, but they feel like, if I cry because I'm a boy, my mother's going to spank me. Or if I cry, it will be a sign of weakness. All that. Especially this whole stigma that is going on with the male children. I think they are under so much pressure. You don't want to put your male child under pressure. He's human being. He's a human being. Being a man is just a gender like being female. It doesn't make you emotionless. So guys, let us teach our children to express their emotions freely, especially when they're around us, So yeah, be able to encourage your children to express their feelings. All right, good. Number 4, you should avoid yelling, shaming, and labeling your children. Now, in our culture, this black culture of ours, we have this tendency where, and I think we've made it such like it's a norm now, and we hardly consider what it does to our children, but it has quite a great impact on them. When your child does something wrong, then you'll be like, like you literally, or like you're literally shaming this child and labeling this child without considering the emotional or psychological consequence that your words have on this child. Like I told you, kids listen, like they're the best listeners in the world, in as much as they want to be listened to. So the moment you start shaming this child and labeling this child, first and foremost, they will start having a fear towards expressing their emotions. They'll start thinking, oh no, it's not right for me to cry in front of my mother because then she feels, it's bad, or that she doesn't support me and whatnot. Or this child will now start pretending and start, being somebody else just to please you or to avoid you yelling at them. Or they literally start concealing their wrongs. The child breaks something, and instead of coming to you about it because they know they will be shamed and labeled, they'd rather hide it, and you'd find it months later. Imagine discovering your lost watch months later, that it's hidden somewhere under your bed or somewhere in between the mattress and the bed, simply because the child was afraid of being shamed and labeled by you if they told you exactly what it is that they've done. So in as much as you want to discipline your children, do it in a loving manner, Do it in a loving manner. Be as kind as possible. Explain to this child that what they did is wrong and that they shouldn't repeat. And besides, sometimes some events are also accidental. Don't be too harsh on your children. Guys, they are human beings just like you are. They make mistakes. They're in the learning process. So be patient with them, be calm with them, and allow them to learn, okay? Allow them to learn without yelling at them. I know it can be quite hard not to yell. I struggle with that myself. It can be quite hard not to yell. But at all times, you need to maintain a calm tone, just maintain a calm tone. And also it also boils down to respect. You have to respect your child just as much as you want them to respect you, okay? So then moving on to what you can do to improve your parenting skills. Number 5, you need to assign age appropriate chores to your children. There's this saying that we're not on this earth to stay forever. We are all of us it is. So in the event that you're no longer there, you don't want to leave your child unable to do anything, okay? And it also comes down to teaching them responsibilities. You have to start at a very young age. You need to start by assigning age appropriate chores to your children. If they're 2 years old, let them pick up their toys. Don't make it a habit where they play with their toys, they throw them all over the room, all over the living room, and then at the end of the day they just fall asleep and you pick them up. That's wrong. Let them pick up their toys. If they're old enough, let them spill. If they spill somewhere, let them take a mop or a cloth and wipe it off, clean up after themselves. If they're old enough to make their bed, let them do that. If they're old enough to bath themselves, let them do that. If they're old enough to cook, let them do that. Age appropriate chores. I'm not saying child abuse, guys. No. I'm not talking about this thing that I see where says a young child 5-year-old and they're carrying a 20-liter container of water. Now that is just child abuse. That is not age appropriate chores. And it should also be a chore that seeks to teach your child a certain skill or a certain responsibility, a certain habit, which should be good, okay? Good. And then skill number 6, we should let your child, fail. I know this is what you want to hear, but let your child fail. At some point in time, you should allow your children to fail. If your child is learning how to ride a bike, for instance, or they're struggling with maths, let them fail the first time. Let them acknowledge, and in that process, they actually learn, because then the child will get to pick up or realize what it is that they're doing wrong, where they're going wrong, and that way you can actually correct them and help them do better and improve on that. Because you don't want your child to be like in the language there's a saying that says Nufuningilwa. You don't want your child to be a Nufuningilwa. How do I say that in English? Nufuningilwa. What is that now? No, guys. The English language has failed me. I failed the English language, but yeah, like you don't want your child to be, dependent on you all the time. Let your child be resilient. Let your child be self-sufficient or something. Let your child be independent. They should be able to fail in doing something, understand why they failed, look at it twice, re-evaluate their choices or their actions, and actually do better. You understand? So it's a growing process. It teaches them resilience, guys. I can't emphasize this enough, that practice is the better teacher. So let the child fail, let them learn from their mistakes, and they grow through that. Number 7, you should set limits or boundaries and actually remain consistent with those boundaries. Set boundaries. Let your child know that they can't come home at this hour. Let your child know that they can't watch PG-13 movies. Let your child know that they're not allowed to have candy. Make it clear to the child what it is that you permit or allow them to do, what they have access to, and make it clear to them that failure to do so will actually have the following consequences. But also be careful when you set boundaries and consequences. Do not threaten the children with these consequences. Instead, actually execute them. Show your child that you are serious about what you're saying. Because if you proceed to then just make threats and threaten them, I'm going to ground you, if you do everything, I'm going to ground you, it's like you become what is it, the word I'm looking for, you it sort of becomes like a hypocrisy. Like you become a hypocrite, because now you're just repeating exactly what you say, to a point where the child actually realizes, nah, mom is just bluffing. So they actually start to test you, and when your children start to test you, you're in trouble. You are in trouble. So don't let it get to that point. Make it clear what the boundaries are. Make it clear what the consequences of failure to adhere to the boundaries are, and actually execute such consequences. The children will learn from that. They know that if mom comes from work, and my homework isn't done, I'm grounded. And nobody wants to be grounded. So you'll find that most of the times you find that the homework is done. Okay? You should always separate the bad behavior from the child. Okay? See, you're in a process where you constantly experience where your child is misbehaving or acting contrary to what you expect or something. But when your child does wrong, you should always be prepared to correct them. Remember, as a parent, you are a nurturer. You're there to teach them, you're there to nurture them. So when the child does wrong, don't take it to mean that your child is bad. No, your child is not a bad person. The action is bad. So you should always learn how to separate the action from the child. Okay? Make them understand that you're not upset with them or because they're a bad person, but you're upset with the action that they chose, with the choice of action. You should make the child understand that they're not a bad person, but the fact that they broke the glass, or the fact that they wrote on the wall, or the fact that they wrote on your car, that is the bad action, and that they shouldn't do that. They are good people, so instead of doing bad things, they should rather try to display good things or good traits that actually reflect on them, because they are good people. So yeah, guys, today's one, I'm going to, like I said, I think I'm going to make this one super short. As you can see, I think the energy levels are not there today. But yes, guys, so these are the 8 skills that you could actually use to improve your parenting skills. So remember to be affectionate, remember to be loving, remember to separate the wrongs from your child, remember to allow your child to express their emotions, remember to give a listening ear. And yes, guys, all the best of luck. Let us continue to soldier on in this parenting journey. I know it's a job on its own, guys. I always say it's a job on its own. So when somebody asks me, are you employed? Even if at the point in time when I wasn't employed, I'd always say, yes, I'm employed. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, where do you work? I'm not like, I'm a mother. I'm a parent. It's a job, guys. And I think for those of you that are doing it, you would agree it's a job. So yay, happy parenting, guys. Thank you for coming through. If you haven't already subscribed, do subscribe and like and share. And if you have anything to comment on, please let me hear from you. And if you've tested out the skills, or if you're going to test them out, let me know if it works for you. And if it doesn't, let me know what actually works for you. Let us learn from each other. This is a whole community parenting. Like I said, it takes a community to raise a child. So let us help each other in the skill. Thank you so much, thank you so much, guys, for your time. And until next time, it's ciao from me. Ciao.